Clap for yourself, for Christ's sake.
There it is.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Stupid for Movies. I am Mark Keizer. You is?
I is Wade Major.
And we are members of the LA Film Critics Association. We also have a podcast on IGN.com. What's that podcast called, Wade?
IGN Digigods, digigods.com, best way to find it.
And by the way, we just did our latest DVD commentary for Vanguard Cinema.
We did.
Woo.
Come on, we have to tap dance around some Hungarian film called Pinprick.
What?
Well, it's an American film.
Right.
Made in Hungary.
That was really sold well.
Pinprick.
It really was.
Yes.
Okay, well, so I'm done. We're done plugging ourselves.
Yes.
Now I want to talk about the show.
Let's do it.
Because let me tell you something. On November 18th, Wade, we're going to have a very special, big, gigantic celebrity Try This at Home.
Woo! There's the graphic. Here it comes. Oh, look at Corey. That's a Mr. Yuck face. Did you notice?
He has a name.
I like
no,
that.
you remember the Mr. Yuck?
Like Mr. Peanut.
Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green. You don't remember? Come on, WWOR New York. It was Mr. Yuck. It's poison. Hey kids, this is poisonous. Don't eat this. Had a Mr. Yuck sticker if it was poison. I'm not.
Good night, everybody.
I'm not that
Take
old.
care.
You're
That's
as old
it.
as
Good night.
me. You know damn well what I'm
Good
talking
night.
about.
Anyway, here's the
understand.
thing. No one cares about. We'll cut that out of the show.
Tejas remembers. Tejas 74 remembers Mr. Thank you. Thank you, Tejas 74.
Thanks, Tejas.
Thank you.
Tejas, stop kissing the producer's butt. Doesn't work. That's my job. Anyway, what I'm saying is that on the November 18th, Wade, we have Paul F. Tompkins on the show.
Awesome.
Paul F. Tompkins is one of the
Yeah,
funniest men that I've ever seen on stage. He is
He's
hilarious.
an incredibly talented comic.
And he has this great Try This at Home recommendation,
Cool.
which Paul will tell you about right now.
Oh.
What?
It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. You
Uh,
got to go to YouTube to see it. We're forcing people. YouTube.com/streaming garage. We need hits, people. We need subscribers.
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Speaking of hits, here's how it's working now. In
You're not going to talk about your drug paraphernalia.
No.
Wait, but hold on. You got to tell them. Aren't you going to tell them what Paul is it going to get into Paul's movie after this? Because you still got to tell them what Paul's movie is.
Oh, fine. Paul's movie is a Dave Foley comedy called The Wrong Guy.
The Wrong
now,
Guy,
here's the
Dave
thing with The
Foley.
Wrong Guy. Not on Netflix streaming, so we're giving you guys a couple weeks to track this thing down.
It is on Netflix.
Yes.
It's just not on streaming Netflix, so you got to order it, send in your thing. So we're giving you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To call in and talk to Paul F. Tompkins. That's right, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
That's
He's got
fine.
that look
That's
of like,
fine.
what the, wow.
I'm trying to get some momentum going on this show. My God, it's unbelievable. Okay, so by the way, let me just say something. Facebook. Kids love the Facebook. That's what I've been told. Now,
It's not the Facebook. It's just Facebook.
It was going to be the Facebook until
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake told him just to drop the.
You've seen the movie,
Because
have
I
you?
saw that thing with the movie where
Yeah.
the guy talks and talks and talks. Anyway, spoiler alert.
Okay.
Used to be the Facebook. So here's the situation. Based on the Halloween show, we got a lot of people on the Facebook page asking about movies, horror movies. So we're thinking, let's go ahead and let's cultivate the Facebook page. Let's get lots of people liking us. Let's get lots of people participating. So we want you guys to be all over the Facebook page. Right, Mike?
Yeah, hit like on Facebook, because every time I post something on Facebook, people immediately respond. When I post it on Twitter, meh.
Interesting.
Twitter, meh. Facebook, responses.
Okay, so there you go. So the lesson of today is Facebook. Okay, now wait. Let me tell you something. It is
Bring 'em.
now the award season time. Now Wade
Yes,
and
it
I
is.
are members of the LA Film Critics Association, and that means that we get free crap every day,
Non-stop.
non-stop until we vote for our year-end awards.
The FedEx comes, the UPS comes, the DHL comes, then the mail comes, and you're just bathing in junk every day.
And by the way,
And after Thanksgiving, it accelerates to a degree that is unbelievable.
yeah, so now it is basically award season. It is
Yes.
kiss the butt of the critics season.
It is.
So whenever I get home, I'm so excited 'cause I look down my hallway, my condo building, look down the hallway, and I see if there's a pile of boxes next to my door, because I know that is good all-American free movie
Swag.
fun. I love it. So I'm walking down my hallway on about October.
Walks on down the hall.
I walk on down the hall. It was late October, and I see this package. I see this package right here. It's a FedEx package. Look at this. And you know what I think to myself? Oh, lordy lord, another free movie for Mark. I'm like, wow, maybe it's more than, we should go to, let's get a sense of the scale of it. We should, so look at this gigantic package. Oh my God, this has got to be fantastic. What? Look at this gigantic package.
All
This
right.
has got to be 1 million movies in this thing.
package,
So I pick it up
Mark,
and
big package.
I'm like, boy, this thing is light. And then I do this and I'm like, well, it's kind of bendy. I don't know that DVDs can bend like that. And in fact, this thing looks basically empty. I'm like, what can be in this thing? Oh my God, it's got to be fantastic. It's got to be swag extraordinaire, but it looks empty. And I open it up and ladies and gentlemen,
So that Elliot Spitzer?
Yes, it is, Corey. That's exactly who it is.
This is a face
With
mask.
his eyes poked out.
This is a face mask of Elliot Spitzer, former New York Attorney General and Governor of New York, who is subject of the documentary Client 9. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, wait, here's the thing.
He looks like he just got with his mouth full of something.
And the whole idea is that we got this. Oh, he did all right.
Put it on
Now, the whole idea.
with the harem girl outfit.
Which never happened. Thank you very much, America. So here's the thing, is that I got this right before Halloween because it's got the little eye holes poked out. So they obviously wanted us to wear this for Halloween, or at least get a chuckle and get Client 9 back in our consciousness. But what really is strange, Wade, and we're used to this, is that how much do you think it costs to get this FedEx envelope, fill it out, and send it to every critic who would get one of these things? I mean, this is like $15 an envelope to send this, right?
It doesn't say anything like vote for us, for your consideration.
Here it is. This is what it says. It says Jackass.
So you would have
That's
to,
what it says.
you would really
it says
have to
this.
know.
It says this and then Jackass.
All right,
That's
we'll
what
move on. But so this, what you're saying, is the worst marketing campaign ever.
It's just a waste of money.
But there's nothing on it. Turn it around. There's on the back. You figure. I thought it might say for your consideration or something. Nothing.
It should.
Yeah, it should. It's got to say
should.
something.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
There you go. Anyway, that's
Marketing
the
fail number 1 of the season.
This is
Yes,
an
it is.
epic marketing fail. All right, guys. So
What if
they
it
go-
had cookies in it?
Oh, huh?
Elliot Spitzer mask and cookies.
Oh, I would so eat the cookies. I love cookies.
There you go. Okay, moving on.
Okay,
Yeah.
moving on. By the way, Wade claims that we got the Client 9 screener in the mail today.
Came today, but I never got a mask. So maybe they sent me the screener and they sent you the mask.
That could be true. All right, so here we go. We've done the preliminaries. We talked about Paul F. Tompkins. We've made fun of the mask. Now it's
Yes.
time for This Weekend in Movies. Whoa.
That's my favorite graphic. I like this. It's a little long though.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
so Wade,
Very loose tonight.
this, by the way, this is a loose show.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun. I'm having fun. By the way, I'm hot as hell, but I'm having fun.
It's like 175 degrees outside.
It is 3 degrees cooler than hell.
It's unbelievable.
Today,
If you
Yeah.
can do this all with the Elliot Spitzer mask, this would be a much better show.
This is unbelievable.
And the hair
LA,
outfit.
LA has become an oven.
Okay, you know what? The show's so boring. We're talking about the weather.
It's
Quarter
terrible.
after. Let's keep moving.
All right, moving.
Okay, so it's a big week, Wade. What are the 2 big releases? What are they? Let's face it.
Megamind and Due Date.
Megamind and Due Date. Now, let me tell you about Megamind. Megamind, we'll talk about that first. Megamind is the big new DreamWorks animated film. Now, DreamWorks, of course, they had a hit with How to Train Your Dragon, which I'm a big fan of. I like that movie a lot. Now, Megamind, huh?
Good.
Did you not like How to Train
I'm
Your
not
Dragon?
thrilled with any DreamWorks animation, to be honest.
Oh my God, you're out of your mind.
just not,
He's
but-
all Pixar. Okay, here's the
I
thing.
am.
Here's what Megamind is about, as if you don't already know. So Will Ferrell is Megamind. He's the villain of Metro City. And Brad Pitt is Metro Man. He is the hero of Metro City. And I guess according to the movie, there really is only one villain and one hero in the movie, and that's sort of the 2 of them. And what I liked about the film, and we'll take a look at a clip in a second, what I liked about the film is that it sort of shows that like good and evil sort of need each other. And without one, you can't have the other. Let's look at a clip, and I'll explain more after that.
Over here, old friend. In case you haven't noticed, you've fallen right into my trap.
You can't trap justice. It's an idea, a belief.
Even the most heartfelt belief can be corroded over time.
Justice is a non-corrosive metal.
But metals can be melted by the heat of revenge.
It's revenge, and it's best served cold.
But it can be easily reheated in the microwave of evil.
Well, I think your warranty is about to expire.
Maybe I got an extended warranty.
Warranties are invalid if you don't use the product for its intended purpose.
Oh, girls, you're both pretty. Can I go home now?
That's Tina Fey, by the way, is the Lois Lane
That's
type character.
terrific.
So here's the thing. What happens is that Megamind finally kills Metro Man, right? So he no longer has a superhero to fight. And the clever thing about the movie is that now that the villain doesn't have a hero to fight, what does he do with himself? The guy is just bored. He has the whole city to run by himself. He does all the stuff he wants to do, but then in the end, he gets bored, so he winds up creating another superhero to fight, played by Jonah Hill. Now, the movie is a little bit reminiscent of Despicable Me, which came out earlier this year. I would say Megamind is a little better than Despicable Me. I think Despicable Me plays to the kids a little bit more. I think Will Ferrell is very funny, and I think a lot of his lines were ad-libbed. I really liked how there are certain words that he mispronounced because Megamind and Metro Man are from a different planet, like Superman. Like instead of calling it Metro City, Megamind keeps calling it Metrocity.
Aww.
Which Corey liked, which I thought was funny. Anyway, it's got, it's funny. When it's funny, it's funny. So it's got good energy. I think that I saw it in 3D. You don't have to, but I will say this, the camera work is pretty good. You know, obviously it's an animated film, so they can put the camera wherever they want. So it's got a lot of energy, a lot of good camera work. It uses the 3D in a way that Coraline did, which we'll talk about later, which is that it's very subtle. It doesn't throw things at the screen like 3D always does, which is so annoying. I like that. I thought the movie was basically fine. There's some pop culture references here that the older folks will like Marlon Brando and Donkey Kong. But I thought it was fine. I will admit that I think that this genre of superheroes, The Incredible, Despicable Me, and now Megamind is getting a little played out. So I think after this, I'm basically done with that sort of new meta take on the superhero genre. But I would give this a pass. I like this.
You know when I was done? After The Incredibles. Because I love The Incredibles. The Incredibles is not only my favorite Pixar film, it's probably my favorite animated film of the past 15, 20 years.
Corey has a comment.
Yes.
I fell asleep in The Incredibles.
Watch it again with me. I'll walk you through it.
And then cuddle, apparently, as you fall asleep.
Oh, we'll cuddle.
Will there be cookies?
Yes.
Okay.
Will there be 7 cookies?
I'll coach you through. I'll coach you through the appreciation of The Incredibles.
You can explain these 7
Now,
cookies?
yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
Let's explain.
Have at it.
I was not here for this, but I have it on good authority that Wade Major basically ate an entire truckload of cookies from Mike's Kitchen before the show.
It multiplies 4 cookies.
You didn't
It multiplies
There was
every
these
single
big,
time.
huge, I'm talking big cookies.
Oh, they're not that big.
Very sizable, and it was like, it's like a tray, and they were filled in the tray, and it was half full.
It was in front of me.
Which is like 12 cookies.
It was
and
in
then
front of me.
I looked after we adjusted cameras,
It was
because we're all
7.
busy working while he's sitting there reading his newspaper. 2 cookies left. And they were for the crew.
3 cookies were left.
Okay, so you ate 9.
It was in front of me.
Moving on.
4.
Can't win.
4.
You can't win.
No,
So-
here's the thing. Look, Megamind, which I didn't see, by the way, and let me explain this. Usually the kids' films, right? When they screen the kids' films, they screen them on Saturday. Usually a Saturday, sometimes a Sunday morning, so that all the critics who have kids can bring their kids, and it's a Saturday morning, and then you're done with it. Megamind, for some bizarre, strange reason, screened 3 p.m. on a Saturday. And Mark went to it, and I thought, you know what? This is in the middle of my Saturday. I'm not going to schlep to Hollywood in the middle of a Saturday to see a 3D movie that I know I'm going to hate. So I didn't go. But here's the thing. I love The Incredibles. Didn't like Despicable Me. I tried to. It just didn't work. And they're all... And this look, I just looked at this...
You love Will Ferrell.
I love
He's
Will Ferrell,
funny.
but the whole idea of it... Yeah, but he's not Will Ferrell. He's a voice. And the whole idea of the thing, it just seemed to me, it's like it's more of the same. Let's take the whole superhero idea... Let's turn it on its ear. Let's play with the idea of heroes and villains in a 3D CG kind of a way. Look, The Incredibles said everything that needed to be said about that. This is like doing an animated film about a wealthy industrialist and his little sleigh. You know, no, we've already had Citizen Kane. Leave it alone.
But what I liked about Megamind is that when you boil it down, it's essentially the story of 2 preening egos. These 2, there's a villainous ego and a hero ego, and I think that was funny, and they played with that. By the way, I picked up my iPhone because Wade was talking about how the animated films screen in the morning. Tangled, the Disney film, screens next Saturday at 10 a.m.
Thank goodness.
Are you going?
I will go.
Oh,
I will go to
look at
Tangled.
Mr. Blah Blah. He's going to go to that one.
Mr. Blah Blah.
And yet it got a bigger laugh than anything else I would have said, so I'm justified in my blah blah. So
Yes.
Megamind, I would recommend Megamind. I would vaguely recommend Megamind.
Vaguely.
Yes.
Wow, that's a strong recommendation.
Hey, look, it's better. Look, I give it so much more credit than Wade. Once again,
That's going to be on the
proving
poster.
himself to be a hater.
That's
Mark
going to be on the
Lover,
poster.
Wade hater.
It's going to be on the poster. I can see that. But it's like commercials. Megamind. I vaguely recommend it. Mark Keizer. Stupid for movies.
You know what? Just spell my name right. That's all I care about.
Vaguely recommended.
All I care about. Okay, so that's Megamind. Now, Wade, we
Exclamation point. Vaguely recommended.
Now, we saw a movie last night.
Yes, we did.
What movie did we see?
We saw Due Date last night. That's Due Date, D-U-E, date, not D-O-O-D-E-W, Due Date.
Don't do it, Wade. Don't
I'm
do
not
it.
doing it. I'm not doing it.
Wouldn't it just be D-U-E?
Don't
What
get
else
him
would it be?
started.
D-U-E.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Don't get him
Exactly.
started. Don't get
Don't
him
get
started.
started.
Because the sequel is going to be called
No.
D-O-O Date, and the other sequel is going to be called Dude Date.
was
As
gonna like-
Wade was
I
going
thought he
off
was doing
before
a
the show.
duet, like
Here's the thing.
a-
Wade
Okay.
was pumped up with sugar before the show because he ate all the cookies, and he winds up saying these horrible jokes about Due Date. So don't get him started.
We're moving on. We're moving on. Here's Due Date. Due Date, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the commercials, you know exactly what it is. It's basically Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for a new generation. The difference here is, whereas in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you had mismatched buddies on an unlikely road trip where they drive each other crazy because they can't get home for Thanksgiving. Now they're on a road trip because an incident occurs on the plane that gets both Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. put onto the no-fly list. It's a crazy little post-9/11 incident, but bottom line, they're in Atlanta and they can't get to LA by any way other than by car. Plus, Robert Downey Jr., who plays an architect, he has put his wallet into his luggage. So he doesn't have his wallet, he doesn't have any money, he has no choice but to hitch a ride with Zach Galifianakis, who is a crazy, weird, very strange, aspiring actor who's carrying along a little French bulldog with him named Sonny. It's a guy, but it's named Sonny. S-U-N-N-Y, I guess. Anyway, so the road trip transpires much like it would in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, except the gags seem much more manufactured. Here's a little look.
We need to make a brief pit stop in Birmingham.
Actually, our next scheduled stop is Shreveport. That's where we rest for the night.
It's only 10 minutes away. It'll take 2 seconds.
Let's just see if we can make it there. Why do you make a pit stop in Birmingham, Alabama? We got to make time.
Because I left my glaucoma medication on the plane.
Wait. Your what? You mean your weed?
It's medical marijuana, Peter.
No, it's weed.
Why do you have to make everything so dark?
It's not dark. It's weed. And I'm saying I really don't want to stop and buy drugs. Is that okay?
You know what? I didn't want to play this card. Certainly not this early. But guess what? Guess who's got the Subaru Impreza? Me. Guess who's got all the money? Me. Guess who's got a winning personality? Me. What do you have? You have a nice hairline. Fine. You have a strong jaw. Fine. But I got to tell you something, mister. Your personality needs some work. My God. Okay, it's like I've got a mind. Holy moly, it's like I'm traveling with a child.
Did you use the restroom?
Good point. I need to take a pee-pee.
Now, I actually enjoyed Due Date. I didn't love it. I certainly don't think it's any Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. In Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you have two amazing comic actors in Steve Martin and John Candy, and direction and script by John Hughes. Really a classic because it was organic. It was about a situation that sort of engendered all of these things that would naturally happen along this kind of a road trip. Here, it feels like they thought up about a dozen, maybe 24 really funny moments without a story, and then kind of poured a contrived story in like a mold to sort of fill in the space around those moments. So the movie never really feels organic. They go out of their way for a lot of the jokes. But that being said, Robert Downey Jr. is a very talented actor. Zach Galifianakis does a great job basically playing himself, doing the same character that he always does, especially in The Hangover. And they somehow find a way of generating chemistry and funny moments even when the script and the story is trying very, very hard to make it work. Todd Phillips, perfectly serviceable director. He's a guy who walks in and tells people what to do, and the movie kind of takes care of itself. He's not a great director. He's not a real creative director, but he's a meat and potatoes guy. So I'd say it's fine for what it is.
No, I would agree. By the way, that's a great blurb for the DVD. It's fine for what it is, Wade Major.
It's fine for what it is.
Stupid for movies. Bam! I turned it around.
See,
Put it on you.
I'm not a hater.
He's a liker. He's a liker. Well, Todd Phillips.
I'm a meh-er.
He's a meh-er.
Todd
Phillips is a director of these male bonding comedies, and what's funny is that he started with stuff like Old School.
Yeah.
Right into the So it's Old School. You got College, Hangover. You've got Weddings, and now he's on to Due Date, which skews the oldest because it's about Robert Downey Jr. having to get home to Los Angeles because his wife is about to give birth.
But
I don't know what's next for Todd Phillips because you can't keep getting older and still get kids to see the movie. You know, but that's Todd Phillips' thing, of these male bonding comedies. So on that basis, I liked it. What I liked the most about it is a lot of the humor was anti-PC. There was a scene where Robert Downey Jr. just takes this kid.
He slugs a kid.
And he just slugs a kid in the stomach like it was unbelievable. With all the sound effect it's worth.
It's a great moment.
And it's a great moment. And all the anti-PC humor, I think, is a little more acceptable now because people kind of use it from The Hangover and from previous
it's cathartic.
comedies.
It's cathartic, too. I mean, how many of us have wanted to just slug a nasty little bratty child in the gut, but we can't because we're adults.
Right.
And you can't abuse children.
And I think,
but you wanted to.
I know.
You know you want to.
And it was a great moment in the movie.
It's a great moment.
But where this movie will, as Wade says, inevitably be compared to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Or even Midnight Run on some level.
Or even Midnight Run. Yeah. But the difference with those films, with Planes, Trains, and Midnight Run, is that you cared about the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Here, you don't really care that much. I'm not sure you really meant to, but what makes the film more than just an opening weekend haha is if you care about the character, because then maybe you'll see it again, you'll buy the DVD, you're invested in it. Here, you're really not.
I think also part of the problem, in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Steve Martin is he's a relatively likable guy who just kind of loses it every once in a while for reasons that we would. If we were that frustrated, we would lose it. And John Candy isn't psycho, he's just overly nice. The characters here, Robert Downey Jr. is really a hair-trigger jerk. I mean, he just goes off at all the wrong times in ways that are completely inappropriate. You and I would not. I mean, we would go off on, in crazy ways, but not like he goes off here. And Zach Galifianakis is not accessible in any way whatsoever. He's fun to watch, but he's nuts. And so those two characters, a jerk and a crazy guy, do not endear themselves to you the way that, say, Steve Martin and John Candy did.
Right, and then as the movie goes on, they sort of start to reverse roles a little bit. A
little bit.
And then at the end, that's always the arcs of these things.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they sort of start to reverse back.
Yeah.
And I was surprised at the ending. In Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, at the end, when they get home and it's Thanksgiving, I mean, you were like crying. You couldn't believe it.
Absolutely. Because because John Candy there's that moment in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where Steve Martin goes back, and John Candy's almost near tears because he's alone, and you realize in that moment that this is a human being. They try to do that here. Try to humanize Zach Galifianakis. But the problem is
he shanked the end.
They shanked it a little bit. But the problem is Zach Galifianakis is so odd. He's so peculiar. He has such weird proclivities. He's so out of his head. There's no way that you can humanize him by the end and make him something accessible. You just can't. He's maybe a slightly more likable crazy guy, but he's still crazy.
Right. And by the way, I was very surprised that Galifianakis and producer Mike and I and the guys we've seen Galifianakis on stage at Largo for years before he became famous. We've been rooting for this guy forever to make it big, and we're so happy for him. And
it's all about the beard.
It's all about the beard. And I was surprised that he actually gave I looked at him as an actor for the first time, not as a comedian who's trying to muddle through an acting role. I looked at him kind of like an actor. I thought he did some good stuff in it.
You know what we need on this show?
More cookies.
Ferns.
More cookies. Huh?
Ferns.
Oh, Between Two Ferns is the greatest.
We need ferns.
God, I love that thing. Okay, so here's where we stand. Megamind, I liked it.
I refuse to see it.
Due Date, I liked it too. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Wow, it's quite a lackluster week. Stupid for movies.
Sounds like you should rent that Paul F. Tompkins choice.
Yes, you should. The Wrong Guy. Do it on Netflix.
Yes.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Wait for this weekend in New York.
We got one more.
Wait for this one more.
Oh,
That is
there's one
so
more.
special. I know that.
One more.
I'm giving you a chance.
We got one more. The third film today is a little independent film called Jolene, based on a short story by E.L. Doctorow. Now, E.L. Doctorow, of course, legend giant of the literary world. And this is from a collection of short stories. This movie's been made for about 2 years, directed by Dan Ireland, who did The Whole Wide World, which is the film that broke Renee Zellweger through, and Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont, which is just a really charming film from a few years ago. And Dan Ireland made this from about 2 years ago. It has gone through hell to get to the screen, but is finally opening up in a number of cities, Los Angeles being one of them. And let's look a little bit from the movie.
I came from a series of foster homes where my so-called daddies would end up fooling with me. I had saved almost $100, just enough money to get me out of the town and out of the state of South Carolina forever. I was just 17, but I carried myself like I was 10 years older. But I did have to take a deep breath on occasion and sell it once or twice across the country. So I married Mickey.
Are you happy, baby?
Oh, sure I am, Mickey.
Welcome to the family, Pumpkin.
Uncle Phil was always trying to show off around me.
That is Jessica Chastain in the title role of Jolene. Jessica Chastain, amazing find. Incredible actress, what she does in this film. This is another find for Dan Ireland, much like Renee Zellweger was in The Whole Wide World. It's basically the story of a woman who is in the 70s in North Carolina, is married off at 16, and from there spirals through these tragic episodes from one guy to another, from one city to another. Her life just sort of on a runaway train, and it is about how she's sort of used and abused by all of those who pretend to love her, but how she's always looking for some kind of control in her life. It's an intimate story that becomes an epic story, incredibly well done, and a lot of Oscar potential here if enough people get a look at it, especially Jessica Chastain, but a great supporting cast here. Chaz Palminteri, you saw Dermot Mulroney there, Rupert Friend, who was previously in Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont, Michael Vartan, Denise Richards, Teresa Russell. I mean, this is an amazing cast that Dan Ireland put together. Earlier today, I had a chance to sit down with Dan Ireland. His premiere is going on as we speak. As we speak, the premiere for this movie is happening, but Dan Ireland came here into our studio earlier on his way to the premiere to talk to us at Stupid for Movies. Here's a little tease. The complete interview will be on YouTube later, but here's a little look at my interview with Dan Ireland.
It really came together. I mean, I think we all had a vision of it, and one of the things that I think Riva Yaris, our producer, liked that I brought up is I said, this is like 5 separate paintings. And one of the things that I was always intrigued by in my life is at the end of Fellini's Satyricon, after seeing this collage of this young man's life and going through it, and it was very episodic, and you saw the ruins, and you saw all the pictures at the very end of, you know, the journeys of the young man's life, and it hit me how to make the film.
So that complete interview will be on YouTube later, but we are so grateful to Dan Ireland for coming in here on his way to the premiere to talk to us. Delightful guy, talented director, and just a real trooper. You know, he fights for these little movies to get them made. He puts his passion into them, and it really shows here. E.L. Doctorow, by the way, totally approves of the movie, gave it his blessing, and was not as you'll find out in the interview, was not completely on board originally, but they won him over.
You know, people think that movies spontaneously happen. You know, they just show up. You show up to the multiplex, ask for a ticket for 2, and then you go to the movie.
Battle.
It is unlike Megamind, which is like not a battle to get made.
Yeah.
Most films are like Jolene.
Yeah.
They take years,
yeah.
and it is painful, and you're not making money while you're doing it. So kudos to him.
Kudos.
To getting
real warrior.
for getting any movie made, let alone a movie that's good.
And for fighting for it for 2 years to get it finally released. So. It's a great story, and it's all in the interview.
Watch the rest of the interviews, youtube.com/streaminggarage.
There you go.
Stop going to Stupid for Movies.
What?
youtube.com/stupidformovies. People still keep going there and subscribing. Okay. So pretty soon I'm going to put them on both.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll let Mike figure all that out. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. All I know is that was this week in the movies. That was it. Wait, it's done. The wheel was the weekend. It's over. It's done.
Oh, that was cool. I have no idea.
Let's do that every week,
Emily, that was awesome.
Emily, she just stumbled into greatness.
I don't know what that was, but it was great. All right.
Speaking of greatness, wait, what's it time for? It's time for stuff to happen. The stuff that's funny and crazy and topical and wacky. Who is it?
Chad Vader in the news.
Yeah. Raggy.
Wow, we're just going to keep making our own sound effects now. This is great.
Raggy?
All right.
Hello, Chad.
Oh, hi, guys.
What the?
What's wrong?
What's wrong, Chad?
I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. I just worked a triple shift.
Oh, man. Wow.
Very tired.
Was it?
But I'm ready to do the news.
Okay.
Wow.
I've never seen Wolf Blitzer like this. I'm just saying.
Never let it be said, Chad is not a trooper.
Yeah.
So what do you got for us? A stormtrooper. Ah,
okay.
He took the thing and made it funny. All right, what do you got?
Okay, I'm awake. Here we go.
Wow.
Brad Pitt has bailed on The Lost City of Z, the current film project of director James Gray. Sources close to Pitt claim that he was not feeling irie about the project and described the producers of the film as bumbleclots and crazy bald heads. Pitt then reportedly blazed a monster spleef and proceeded to chant down Babylon. Now that it's lost its star, it's doubtful that The Lost City of Z will ever get made.
Wow.
Now, Wade, you and I are fans of James Gray.
Well, I know James Gray.
We were, yes.
So that's. I mean, we just saw him at the The premiere of Let Me In. Yeah.
And, you know, his last film...
Right, where I did this to him, and he gave me a dirty look.
Yes, he did.
Gave me a dirty look.
And
no,
his last film, Two Lovers, was the film that Joaquin Phoenix
great
did.
Film.
And he was on Letterman promoting that film when he freaked out.
Well, doing the phony freak out to promote the
movie. We all knew it was phony, by the way, let's face it.
But, yeah, it's just so sad. You know, James is such a talented filmmaker. I mean, he's a really talented director, but he gets, sometimes his movies have really bad luck, and this is a horrible turn. I hope the movie still gets made.
You know, the thing is that, like, when you go on IMDb, and you read what, you know, George Clooney's doing next. He has like 3 or 4 movies that are always labeled in development.
Well,
and who knows if he's actually in them? It could be a publicity plant. It could be phony. You just never know. So, you know, nobody. James could tell you how close Brad Pitt was to really doing this film. I don't really know.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that if it's not Brad Pitt, it'll be somebody else.
It's the publicity doesn't certainly doesn't help matters, but somebody else certainly. It's a great part. If James is directing it, I guarantee you the script has weight and gravitas, and somebody else should jump in.
I agree. James is very talented. I really like Two Lovers. I really liked his previous films too.
Two Lovers is a great film.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Chad, what else you got for us?
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Yeah.
Okay. Hugh Jakman will be appearing in the upcoming X-Men prequel, X-Men First Class, according to a cab driver's Facebook page. The Georgia cabbie posted the following as his Facebook status, and I quote, "I drove Hugh Jakman from X-Men to the airport this morning. They are filming on Jekyll. Cool guy," unquote. So if you guys will hang on just a second, I got to change my Facebook status. Just hang on a second. There we go. Facebook status, and there we go. My new Facebook status reads, Chad Vader is appearing in all the movies that are coming out. He's going to star in all of them, and it's going to be great. Cool guy. It's on Facebook, so it must be true.
Can I say something to people who are younger than us? Facebook is stupid. I mean, honestly, you know, people go on Facebook, they say whatever they want, nobody vets it, it's true, it's false, nobody cares. They go, oh, I just made tomato sauce, and I'm in a movie, whatever, it's all a bunch of crap. I mean, seriously. I mean, by the way, like us on Facebook, because Facebook is very important. Very important. Let me just say. So what I'm saying
this is why Mark doesn't get dates.
So
I'm telling you, pick him up on Facebook.
What does this have to do with dates?
You got ladies who are fans of the show. If you go on the Facebook page, you can go, yes, I am Mark Keizer.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't do it.
I don't. It's, you know what? Here's the thing.
So then Corey picks them up. Corey uses your avatar and goes out on these dates.
I love going on the Digigods Facebook page. I love going on the Stupid for Movies Facebook page. My own Facebook page couldn't care less. I'm just saying.
Good
so
for
the
you.
thing is that it's all just a bunch of crap. Is he in it? Is he not? But the thing is that this becomes news. Some nobody from nowhere writes something, and everybody picks it up. That's the world we live in.
Andy Warhol is the new Nostradamus.
That is true. 15 minutes, baby. All right, Chad. You know what? Now you got us all riled up. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
What else you got for us?
Okay. Looks like those Quades are in a heap of trouble.
Oh, no.
Seeing as how they done jumped bail and are on the run from Johnny Law. Yes, the sad and weird tale of Randy and Evie Quaid continues as they await an immigration hearing in Canada after their arrest in Vancouver. The reason they fled the U.S.? They claim they are persecuted by Hollywood star whackers, who they allege are seeking to defraud and murder them. I wanted to delve deeper into this case, so I went to my local video store and rented Hollywood Star Whackers. I rented Hollywood Star Whackers. It was not the film I expected. And I'm not going to go into detail, but let's just say I can't unsee what I saw. And if these people are really out to get the Quades, then they should run. Run, Randy Quaid. The Hollywood Star Whackers are going to do unspeakable things to you. Stay in Canada. Star Whackers.
Chad is just delirious with lack of sleep. That's the problem. He is delirious. You know, I saw that. Did you see that statement that Randy Quaid gave?
I did.
He started to cry.
I watched the whole the interview you're talking about.
No, he gave a statement in front of the press where he names like
I
7
did
of
see
his
that, yes.
friends who died recently because these are the Hollywood star whackers who are killing his friends.
I honestly, I'll tell you, meth is a horrible drug.
There is so much more to that story that we're not hearing.
No, there's a lot more. I don't even know where to go.
You know what?
I once golfed with him.
Huh?
I once had a foursome with him. Golf.
What?
Golf.
Oh.
Me and John Axel.
That just got a lot less interesting.
Wow.
We were golfing, and then Randy Quaid joined, and he just held a cigar in his mouth the whole time and golfed. That was it.
Did he call you a Hollywood star whacker?
No, this was years ago. He was fine then.
Because honestly, saying star whacker and foursome with Randy Quaid,
That's what I was
suddenly. Golf, yeah, it made it a whole lot less interesting.
Exactly. All right, Chad, it sounds like you need some sleep, right? Should we let you go?
Where am I? Where am I? Who are you? Sleeping. Good night.
I like how Chad sleeps. He sleeps sitting up. It's very impressive.
He's got to.
You know what? Every
gotta
time
be alert,
man.
Like the elephant man.
I have to sleep sitting up unlike the elephant man.
Wow.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because that's how he dies at the end of the movie, Wade. He goes into his bed and falls asleep.
Right, I know.
Chad's a smarty. Love it.
Good reference.
Be very quiet.
Should we finish the show? I feel like we should not.
Don't disturb him. He's got a lightsaber.
All right.
We should let Chad sleep until next week.
Just let him sleep it off.
Yes, we should. Now, by the way, before we move on to parental guidance, Wade's gonna have the giggles for the next 15 minutes, aren't you?
Can't get enough.
All right.
Okay.
So before we move on to parental guidance,
yes,
we just want to mention that there was a very sad celebrity death.
Very sad.
Very recently, Monica Johnson.
Albert
died.
Brooks' longtime writing partner, incredibly talented writer, and a fan of the show.
And a fan of the show. You look at movies like, Real Life, by the way, was the original reality show. Like, you watch that movie today and you think, oh, it's just a bad reality show. No. This is like 25 years before.
It broke ground at a time when people just didn't sort of have the tools to understand what that movie was doing.
That's right. It was completely ahead of its time.
Yeah.
That movie is like the network of of comedies.
It is. It's great.
Totally prescient. And then I remember Modern Romance, which was another terrific Albert Brooks film that Monica Johnson co-wrote. I remember seeing that movie with my father, who loved that film, because at the time he was going through the same, divorce and meeting women and guys and all that. And so it really resonated with him. I just thought it was just funny. I didn't get the deeper levels of it, but that was Monica Johnson too. Lost in America.
Lost in America.
Nest Egg.
Classic.
Come on.
Great.
And by the way, just one more thing before we move on from Monica Johnson. She also co-wrote Mary Tyler Moore. Some episodes of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. The reason that I started to work in television is because I saw Mary Tyler Moore, and she worked at a TV station, and I wanted to work in TV.
You wanted to be Ted Knight.
One of the great characters in all of television history, Ted Baxter.
And she was a fan of the show.
And
she actually, I put this up on Facebook when we first started, and who knows who's watching it. I know Monica, through friends, and we were friends. And she actually wrote to me after the first or second episode saying how proud she was, and that she was watching it all the time, and that people would join her and tune in, and because it was such a great show. And that meant a lot to me going into this when we first started, not knowing if anybody was watching this. So to me, that meant a really lot, that she was a big fan and was proud of what we were doing.
So a big loss not only to the Hollywood community, but to people who love great films.
But do right by her and go out and actually rent some of those movies, and you get a quality of writing there that I don't think we have anymore in the movies. Those are really, really well-written movies. Good characters, honest funny, not gag funny, but like honest funny. And it's a real loss.
Totally agreed. All right, so wait, let's move on from that.
Yes.
Because now we have Philip Nelson, who's got parental guidance.
Philip refuses to wait for the parental guidance logo to go through. He always jumps the gun. We have a big intro that we made for him, a 3D graphic intro with his name on it, and he does not care.
We spent 16 cents on this thing. You gotta let it go. Gotta let it roll.
Explain how a TriCaster works.
Philip. All right, Philip. So are you there now, Philip?
I'm here, guys. How are you?
Thumbs up from Philip Nelson, everybody. Woo! Yeah. All right, so now where are you Skyping from? Where are you?
I'm actually Skyping from the comfort of my own living room in San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio,
Excellent.
Texas, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so listen, you've got a really interesting parental guidance suggestion this week, don't you?
Yes, I do. As a follow-up to our horror episode last week, there was a lot of movies I wanted to cover in that horror episode, and my kids, as we always do, I let the kids really pick my movies, and my two daughters were begging me to do Coraline, and so I figured, why not just do Coraline this week?
You know what?
Awesome.
I'm a fan of Coraline.
I am too. I endorse that.
I like that film. Now, now, Philip, what did you like about Coraline?
Well, the thing that's interesting about Coraline, I'm a Tim Burton fan, and this almost feels like a Tim Burton movie to me. It's creepy and interesting, and it scares kids into obeying their parents.
Well, that's good.
That's true. You know what? When I saw it, I called my mother right up and said, whatever you want me to dust or mop or whatever you want me to call you every week, I'll do it. All because of Coraline.
It does. I mean, she doesn't, the idea Coraline doesn't really respect her parents in a lot of ways, and she finds this new alternate world where everyone's perfect except they have buttons for eyes, and it's an interesting movie, and all of my kids really liked it. And it's funny, I read reviews on this movie when it first came out, and everybody was talking about how scary it is and how terrifying it is, and adults would be scared, and no one was scared in my entire house. My 12-year-old son, I asked him, I said, was it a scary movie? I said, how would you describe Coraline? And he just said creepy. So creepy, I think, is good. So I really enjoyed this movie because it wasn't what I expected. And as you mentioned earlier, the 3D was very well done. I love 3D movies. My family loves 3D movies. But so many people use 3D as a gimmick instead of just making you feel like you're watching something neat. And the 3D in Coraline was very nice. It wasn't just gimmicks. And so, you had a great movie with interesting 3D. So I'll jump into the ratings this week. In the action category, we're going to give it a 4. I almost gave it a 5, but it's an action. There's a lot of interesting scenes that it's an action movie. Now, in the language category, I'm going to give it a 2. It's a PG movie, but they really. One thing I loved about this movie is that they used funny words instead of bad words. And so instead of having to make it feel authentic and edgy, they just put silly words where people would have said bad words in the movie. And I do like it when filmmakers do that in family films. In the romance category, I'm going to give it a 4. I think I might have forgotten to say language is only a 2. So sorry about that, guys. Romance, I'm going to give it a 4. And the reason I'm going to give romance a 4 is not because there's traditional romance in it, but there's some very weird things that happen or that they do in this movie, like these two old ladies that live next to Coraline. There's a scene where basically they're on stage wearing like a bikini bottom and pasties, which it's bizarre. And but the thing that is weird is from a family viewing perspective, my kids didn't think it wasn't like sexual. It was just weird. And also there's another neighbor that wears these little shorts and his gut hangs out, and it's just it shows some skin in a family appropriate way. But I am going to give it a 4, which is almost the highest romance rating. Not that old ladies in pasties is romantic, but I just want parents to be educated when they watch this movie with their family. Yes. What?
Nothing. So speak for yourself with the old ladies in panties. Never mind.
I know Mike is a big fan of old ladies in pasties, so memo to self: beware. So Harold category, I'm going to do what? Okay, sorry, I'm echoing. So in the peril category, I'm going to give it a 5, which is the highest rating we can give it, because this movie, Coraline, after she realizes that these button-eyed parents are not really good, it becomes a little, she's in danger. They find the spirits of kids that have been eaten or whatever. And so, kids are in danger. But, it wasn't overwhelming. They didn't overdo it. It had a little tension for my kids, but they liked it. They really enjoyed this movie. So I don't, from my family, it wasn't too perilous, but I am going to give it a 5 just because of the whole idea of, spirits of dead children trying to save Coraline and this giant creature trying to eat Coraline. So it doesn't get much more perilous than that. Now, on the family enjoyment, I am going to give it a 5, which is our highest rating, because I think this is a fun movie to watch. When I watched it with the family, I actually didn't find myself wondering if it was gonna end soon. It was an interesting story, interesting movie, very good 3D, very good animation, and I think it's just a good movie all the way around. So that's our pick for this week. Coraline is, it's something very interesting. If you want to have a scary night with some popcorn with the kids, I think this is a really good choice.
Here's the thing.
This is what I put up with every week.
Come on, we're doing a show. What I like even more than Coraline the movie, I like Coraline the character, because when you look at her in the movie, she's like a combination of Lucy Van Pelt from Peanuts, like is drawn by like Rankin Bass. So I thought Coraline was a really interesting character. Like, I loved her.
I'm going to make a comment as soon as you take that off your head.
Maybe I never will.
Okay. No, I agree. I think Henry Selick is a terrific filmmaker, and this is nice. He's working away from Tim Burton for a change. As like Nightmare Before Christmas was very much their merged sensibilities, but here he's stop motion. It's not CGI, which I appreciate, and I watched this on Blu-ray, not in 3D, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So I don't think you need the 3D necessarily, even to fully get the film. Oh, that was terrific.
You don't need the 3D to get any film.
No, you don't.
And I had the Blu-ray for Coraline, and it's a great Blu-ray.
It's really
gorgeous.
good, really good.
And so I agree with Philip. I think Coraline is just terrific.
Yeah.
So Philip, another great recommendation. Look at that.
Well done.
Woo! Yeah, Philip Nelson, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna make a note of this show's skin in a family appropriate way. Make a note of that.
All right, wait, here's the thing. So now we've done the movies. We've done your interview, your fantastic interview with the guy who did Jolene.
Dan Ireland.
Dan Ireland, terrific.
Terrific.
Done the parental guidance, right?
You've put a FedEx envelope on your head.
I put a FedEx envelope on my head.
So
there's only one thing left to do.
Sure.
Tell the people.
You have the FedEx.
It's Buy, Rent, or Burn. We've done it 40 times already.
So now Elliot Spitzer has replaced Mark.
Finally.
Yes.
Yes, I am here.
Not on your camera.
Former Attorney General of New York.
Hold on.
It's a good thing we're not live, because this would be hilarious if we were live.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. It's unbelievable. All right, so here's the thing. Producer Mike has scoured the Facebook page and the Twitters and the webs things and everything that's going on with the kids today and their crazy websites. And he's going to throw out a movie, and Wade and I will tell you guys if you should buy it, rent it, or burn it.
Buy, rent, or burn. They've never seen this. Jay Keith in the chat room wants to know when will we change it to, instead of buy, rent, or burn, buy, stream, or burn.
Ooh.
As soon as somebody pays us.
Yes.
Amazon, looking at you.
But you're still renting when you stream, right? It's still technically renting.
Here we go.
No?
Chat room, you've
All right.
never seen these. By the way, from now on, we're going to take these on the Facebook page. How about that? Next week, like us, or you don't get asked anything on Buy, Rent, or Burn. We'll put up a Buy, Rent, or Burn Facebook.
Yeah.
Throwing down the gauntlet.
74 asks about factotum. What?
Oh,
yeah,
no, factotum.
No, factotum. That's the... Wait, is factotum the... No, is factotum... Which one?
2005, I think it's
Is that the Matt Damon? No, that's more Matt Dillon plays kind of this Charles Bukowski-esque... I like that movie.
Yes.
He plays like a Charles Bukowski. Actually, I reviewed that movie. I liked it. I would rent that. He plays like this Charles Bukowski-esque drunken character. Who goes
I have like a really super vague recollection of it. I guess I'll go with rent.
Yeah,
sure.
I'd rent it.
All right.
I don't recall hating it.
Chad Murphy.
Wait, there's another blurb. I don't recall hating it. Wade Major.
I don't recall hating it.
I don't recall hating it. Smokey and the Bandit 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah!
You know,
Smokey and the Bandit. Sally Field was
here,
hot.
right here.
I can't.
Smokey and the Bandit.
I can't.
You can't?
Why not?
Okay.
Why
never
not?
mind. All right.
Hold on, we got to take a second. Hold on, we had a. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Technical problem.
That's okay.
We had a
That's
technical
okay.
issue with one of the
That's okay.
chords that broke
You
out
know,
another show.
Smokey and the Bandit, great film. Smokey and the Bandit 2 is just bad enough to almost be better. I'm going to say bye.
Ooh, I'm going to say rent that thing.
Yeah.
Smokey and
I'm
the
gonna say
Bandit,
bye.
buy. Smokey and the Bandit 2, rent.
I'm going to say you buy them both. Smokey is the bandit. Burn that sucker.
We've got a buy and a rent.
Yeah.
Lady Diode asks about California with a K.
Ooh, you know what? That came out about the same time as Natural Born Killers and was sort of... I think it's better than Natural Born Killers, but considering that Natural Born Killers is a film that I loathe with the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
I like that movie.
I'm going to say California, good performance by Brad Pitt. Go ahead and rent it.
Rent it. I agree. I say rent.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. How about from Skillas in the chat room, live Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Feel free to join. Hard Candy.
That's a twisted little movie. I liked it.
That's sharp.
But do you want to buy?
Ellen Page kind of broke through with that. So yeah,
Canadian film. I liked it.
I'm going to say rent.
Rent that. You know,
Rent.
you really want to? Hey, honey, what do you want to do tonight? Watch Hard Candy about this guy who beats up girls?
It's out on Blu-ray now, I think, or is in about a week or two.
You know what? It's coming out soon.
Yes.
Man's Gotta Eat wants to know about See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Charles Bronson?
Yep.
Yeah, the Charles Bronson, See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
No,
Nope.
the other one.
Yep. See, what I do is I go, yep, if you say it immediately,
Well,
yep.
There's a Charles Bronson.
Richard Pryor and wasn't that Richard Pryor and
Gene Wilder?
No, that was...
No.
This
is a Charles Bronson film.
Charles Bronson. This was back during his canon days.
This
where he
is
did these
Charles
horrible
Bronson
movies.
made Death
He
Wish.
says Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder.
Oh, really? That one?
That, no,
oh,
no,
where he's
no.
blind.
Yes,
It's-
but that was like their 7th collaboration when it was all basically they were basically
that's
not
a
happening.
that's a dreadful
No,
film.
no,
like
no.
Richard Pryor's blind and Gene
And
Wilder is deaf, and somehow they have to
work together. It's not good.
That's burn. That's
and by the
sad.
way, I love me some Gene Wilder. I love me some Richard Pryor. But Silver Streak, great. Some of their other films together, great.
Absolutely. Silver Streak is terrific. Silver Streak is wonderful.
But once you start getting down to See No Evil,
yeah,
it's not happening.
that was really working on fumes.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Which reminds me, we're going to have not only Paul F. Tompkins as a comedy great, we're going to have a relation to another comedy great coming on soon.
What?
Yeah.
You mean somebody who's related to a comedy
Somebody's related
great?
to one of the greatest comedy, and she has her own podcast radio show going on that also discusses comedy and things like that.
Wow.
I think I know who this is. I think you mentioned it, didn't
Kelly
didn't you?
Carlin will be on in a couple weeks, I believe. We're trying to get that down exactly
Now
what day.
here's the situation. As everybody knows, George Carlin was. If Pete Townsend was my musical god, George Carlin my comedy god. So the idea that George Carlin's daughter is coming on the show,
That's
I
pretty cool.
guarantee I will be sitting in this chair, whatever week that is.
Other weeks, no.
Other weeks, maybe
and she's
not.
working
You
with a lot of
never
great comics now. I think she's working with Provenza is on her show.
Wow.
She had Gary Shandling on her show, so she's doing a radio show
Outstanding.
that has a great comedians on as well, and she'll come on and talk
Good
about all
deal.
that.
Excellent.
Gambit242 asks about music and lyrics.
Here's what I wrote about music and lyrics. I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember reviewing that movie, and I think the lead was something like, "This movie is so conceptually lazy. It's amazing the film has enough strength to make it through the projector." I actually wrote that, and I don't know how I remember that, but I did. So, which means that you should burn it.
I don't know if I would say burn, but I don't really want to say. Can I say Brent?
You
Oh, we got a Brent!
There we go.
No, hang on for a second. Wait. Whoa.
We'll do a Brent on that one.
Okay.
It's
dreadful. Hugh Grant, dreadful.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. McFarlane asks about Big Fish.
I'm really mixed. I'm really mixed on Big Fish.
You know what? It's one of Tim Burton's better films, and it's really well done, and it's got some great performances in it. I mean, Albert Finney is really good, but for some reason I don't emotionally connect to it the way that I feel like I should, and I think that's Tim Burton just not necessarily being emotional enough as a director.
Well, he's never been emotional enough.
So I'm going to say Rent.
Yeah,
You know
what? I actually completely agree with what Wade says.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I wanted to connect with it more.
And I didn't. Yeah.
All right, moving on. MJ2346. Lars and the Real Girl.
Good. I like that movie. With the Ryan Gosling, he's got the.
With
I don't know
the
what
blow-up
good
doll.
means. I
With
mean,
the
buy,
blow-up doll.
rent, burn. We don't have a good. We don't
Rent.
have a like. We
It's
have
a
a
Rent.
very.
I'd say Rent that.
I'm grudging in saying it, but I'll go with Rent too.
Yeah, but Emily Mortimer, by the way.
Terrific, always.
Two more to go.
Like
Two more to go.
Do
Oh my
it.
God. Kratos. God, I always get this wrong. Kratos?
Sure.
Kratos.
Sure.
Hunger, 2008 film, Hunger.
Oh, the
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen film. Liked it a lot. Which is on Criterion now. A great Criterion DVD of it. I like the movie a lot.
You know what? Look, Steve McQueen is a very avant-garde British artist who, this is his directing debut. We gave him an award at LAFCA. It was a New Generation Award.
Yeah.
Very talented guy, but it's a very obscure film. Bear in mind, there's actually, I'm not kidding, there's a shot in the film. It's like, what is it, 10 minutes long?
No, it's long. It's like a 15-minute
No, not
take.
that one. I'm not talking about the conversation.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the guy who's mopping the floor. There's a guy who's mopping the floor. It's a shot of a guy mopping a floor, an uninterrupted shot that goes on for like 6 minutes.
No, but there's also a shot in this cafeteria between the guy
and the priest.
And
it's
the priest.
The conversation.
It goes on for about 15 minutes. It's a 15 minutes uninterrupted take.
It's not your average commercial movie. You got to really have a super artsy inclination to watch this movie. So
I would say rent that Hunger and also rent Tony Scott's Hunger. That's a double
awesome.
Hunger.
Catherine Deneuve, David Bowie, rocks. But that one, I'm going to say buy that Hunger.
Ooh.
This Hunger, wow, I can't.
I say rent that.
I can't. I'm Brent.
One more. Oh,
yeah. Brent.
It's a Brent.
Thank God for the internet.
One more.
Yes.
Elaine Ewing, who's not here today.
Why is Elaine Ewing not here today?
Thanks,
There's
Elaine.
a lot of traffic.
Hi,
It's hot in the valley. You can't blame her. She deserves a break.
So unfair.
Okay.
Mortal Thoughts.
Mortal Thoughts. Information, please.
Mortal Thoughts.
I know Mortal Thoughts.
I believe it's a movie that came out. Hold on.
I'm thinking Alan Rudolph, and I know that's wrong. That's something
Elaine,
else.
we're asking Bruce Willis.
Oh.
Mortal Thoughts with Bruce Willis. What year was that?
And Demi Moore.
Yeah, that's... Wow, my recollection. I mean, I'd been reviewing movies for like a year at that point.
I'm going to say I don't care.
Wait,
we have an I don't care?
1992, Glenn Headley.
Yeah, no, I have a super vague recollection of it, but I don't. You know what? I don't remember hating it, so I'm going to say Rent.
Wait, this seems like a legitimate stumping.
Well,
because it's been like 18 years.
It's been 20 years.
How old is Citizen Kane?
I've watched it.
Buy, rent, or burn. Citizen Kane.
Buy.
Okay, there you go. All right, so there you go. You want to wrap? You wrap. I don't want to wrap it up for you, Mark. You can wrap it up.
Elaine, here's the thing. Next week, don't end the show on a downer. Be here in person to end the show on a downer.
Oh,
unbelievable! Thanks for nothing. Okay, so so here's what we learned.
Wait, that was
what? We
need the thing. That was Buy, Rent, or Burn.
Oh, that was Buy, Rent, or Burn.
Buy, rent, or burn.
That's very Muppet Show. Yeah. Buy, Rent, or Burn. Hold on.
Very
right when the
Muppet
cameras
Show.
get back on, we stop doing it.
We're the two old guys in the balcony.
Just when it would be funny for everybody to see, we stopped doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of funny, Megamind funny, Due Date sort of funny, right?
Megamind I refuse to see, so I'll take your word for it.
Okay, and Due Date moderately amusing.
You know what? Look, there are a dozen moments in Due Date that are genuinely hilarious. It doesn't really work as a story, but if you just want, if you don't mind blowing $12 on 12 laughs, it's $1 a laugh.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
And you know what? In these hard times, that's not bad.
Not
okay,
bad.
so on the 18th, we got Paul F. Tompkins coming on the show. We love Paul F. Tompkins, and he's recommending The Wrong Guy. Now, like we said earlier in the show, The Wrong Guy is on Netflix, but it is not on Netflix streaming. So either get the disc, go rent it, but you'll love the movie.
Go to
it's really
YouTube
funny.
for a personal message from Paul.
And go to YouTube for a personal message.
YouTube.com/streaminggarage.
Yes.
Personal message from Paul F. Tompkins.
And go to YouTube to see my interview with Dan Ireland on the movie Jolene.
And we may be here next week. We can talk a little bit. It's relying on if you guys have these can see Skyline or not, which right now it's not screening for critics.
Not screening as of 2 days ago. The last word I got from Universal was that they were not sure yet.
So here's the deal. We need a break. We're a little tired. We're overworked. We're not making money. Soon we're going to ask you all for money. Trust me. And so if you guys screen Skyline, we'll do a show. And if not, there's really no reason to do a show because there's no other really big movies that week coming out. Right? There's one other big movie.
We can talk about it the following week.
We can talk about it the following
week. So that's it. 18th, Paul F. Tompkins.
Yeah.
Possible show next week, but we'll let you know.
So there you go.
On the Facebook page and Twitter.
So, all right, folks, you got a whole lot of homework to do. You got to watch some stuff on YouTube. You got to watch Wade's interview. You got to watch The Wrong Guy.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.